Welcome back to American Beef Ranch. My name is Jesse. Today we are headed out this evening, this cool evening, to go check on the cows because we have new babies on the ground and we're gonna see if we have any additional new babies today. And we're also gonna take some time to talk about the intersection of quality and quantity. Welcome back to the channel. We're out in the pasture. We are taking a look at some cows. We're headed up here to look at some cows. And we have had an interesting week. It's been really warm, up into the 70s, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Wednesday afternoon, the wind started picking up. Temperature dropped over Thursday night down to freezing temperatures. And now we are into Thursday. The high today was 45 degrees. It's been windy all day, and we have another cold night tonight. And honestly, it's not gonna get that warm again, it looks like, for another 10 days. But we do have cows calving. We started right in the middle of April for the cows that I manage. That's when we like to calve. Usually the grass is green. As you guys can see, we're out here on some range pasture, so not a whole lot of grass, but green no matter. And we like to calve on green grass if we are able to. So middle April, 1st of May is typically what I like to shoot for, especially if we're growing grass-fed and finished cattle and calves. So that is kind of what we're looking for. I do have a calf spotted. Let's go take a look at him. Okay, you can see the cows have pushed through this corner here a little bit, but here is the first calf born. There's 3 on the ground that I know of, but I wasn't able to get this calf tagged, and she's gonna run back through the fence and head over there and run away from me. But we do know she's the first calf, and as long as, I didn't really know they were calving, I kind of forgot what day of the month it was, but as long as they are, she is the only one that's not tagged, I know who she is, so we'll be okay, but I will probably screw that up. But the reason that we like to calve on green grass is because for a grass-fed and finish operation, we feel that the quantity is not as important. So we're not looking for certain things that like the commercial market may look for, because in the commercial market, typically quantity is greater than quality. Not to say that our cattlemen aren't growing great calves, because they are, and there's a lot of good cattlemen in the world that are growing awesome cows at a large number of them, but quantity is typically more important. If something's a little straggly, it still may get sent with the rest of them, and there's nothing wrong with that. And in the commercial market, because of the way that the animals are fed, you can feed around some of the problems that they have. You can feed over those things because those animals are not quite of quality. They don't convert feed as well, and they take a little more feed usually to finish onto a final product. Farmers face the same problem in the corn and soybean market. Since the 1970s, the USDA and a USDA director at that time held the position to farmers, basically get big or get out. If you don't want to get big, you don't want to grow as much as humanly possible, get out. And that's really where our cheap food system, some say that is flawed, came from, is from that director really pushing that we need to grow more and more and more. And that's where we got all of this new technology, all these hybrid seeds, all the GMOs, all those things started coming into play so that farmers could grow more. Not necessarily better, but more. And in retrospect, is there really anything wrong with corn or soybeans or anything? You could say that some people would say there is problems with corn and soybeans. Okay, I'm not gonna argue with you there, and that's not what this video is about. But consistently, American farmers have grown more and more and more corn and soybeans to a point where we've grown quantity so long that we have put ourselves out of the market. We have put ourselves out of a customer because there's so much corn and soybeans around, and then everybody else figured out how to grow corn and soybeans just like we did, and now countries don't need our corn and soybeans, so our prices have fallen. We haven't been able to, really support our farmers like we should. But if you look at Trump, ever since he got in office, our corn and soybean prices have actually, especially the corn price, has trickled up a little bit. So I believe trade deals are working out better, but still American farmers are going to have to find another way to make a living, another way to make a profit. And that goes back to this holistic food movement that we are seeing in the United States currently. Ladies and gentlemen, the cows are a little riled up. They are looking for their young, like, where are you at? I know that cow right there has a calf. Pretty sure this one has a calf. Maybe not yet. But there's calves to be found, and we're gonna find them. The holistic food movement that's come back to the United States and really made meat popular again, made milk popular again. You know, the carnivore diet's huge right now. All of those things are really awesome to see because it's just going back to good food. Like, no BS, no nonsense. Let's grow good food. And it's kind of nice to see that the emphasis on quantity has kind of gone away to quality. And we've also seen that we have to have quality to be profitable, but quality cannot sustain a farm. You still must have a good yield, because if you don't yield, you're not gonna have anything. So finding the intersection between quantity and quality is super important for a farmer to succeed, and that's something I'm working on myself, trying to find the balance of. So here we got one of the other calves. I believe she belongs to that cow right there. This one has a calf too, and I'm trying to find it. Oh, it's laid down right here. So we got one calf right here, number 14, a black bull calf, and then this one right here, number 13, another black bull calf. Looks like they're both doing good. Both have been drinking milk. We're not gonna bother them anymore. We're gonna leave them alone. We're gonna move on down the line, as they would say, and we're gonna go check and see if we can find any other babies. Personally, I've been a part of this journey my entire time in farming. See, I grew up on a farm and ranch that raised grass-fed and finished beef. So we were always hitting on the point that our quality is why you should buy our product. Not necessarily because we had so much of it. We also learned in our specific niche that quality was far more important because it was really easy to find bad grass-fed and finished beef. And I imagine the same still applies today, that it's really easy to find bad grass-fed and finished beef. But to find good grass-fed and finished beef, really good grass-fed and finished beef, is what sets somebody apart. But me personally, I don't believe that one should overtake the other. I believe that quality is top tier and quantity may be slightly under that, but it is just almost as important, and we should push to have that. And the cool thing about regenerative agriculture and rotational grazing, and even some of the new organic farming practices that we have available to us, is that now quantity doesn't have to suffer like it used to. I know how to grow really good grass and make really good cows to make really good grass-fed and finished beef. I also have the fertilizer products and the soil knowledge to grow really great yields and be really profitable on crops in the field, such as row crops, whatever row crop you want to think of. So I think we've luckily found that balance, or that intersection of quality versus quantity. And it's come at a lot of trial and error, and it's come to a lot of, work and figuring out. And I definitely think we have an advantage because we got into the fertilizer game, the fertility game, and we've learned a lot more about soil health and how it works, and how we as even organic farmers can get the quality, but really push those yields to a level that most organic farmers, wouldn't think was possible 10 years ago. Well, the dry weather has turned to a little bit of rain. It's going to perk up some of the grass. That's great to see. We love that. But one thing in this whole debate that drives me absolutely bonkers is when people say that, oh, it's organic, it's not going to yield as good. I call BS. Now, the reason I call BS is that we have so many fertility products available to us today that we never had before. And we have more soil knowledge available to us today that we've never had before. So I am so tired of hearing the excuse, oh, it's organic, it's not going to yield as good. No, your soil sucks. That's why you're not going to yield as good. If we would actually sit down and take the time to learn a little bit more about soil and how it actually works, we wouldn't have to have the debate between what is more important, quality or quantity, because we would have both. We would have high nutrient dense food at the same time of having a lot of it. if our soil got to a point where it wasn't so poor, we would get there. But unfortunately, industry will always get in the way of that and figure out a way to lead the farmer on like a little dog on a leash and make a profit off of them. And that is one of the huge problems in American agriculture. All right, we have finished our cow check for the evening. The cows are looking good. I really don't check them that often. I don't worry about our calves having calving issues. We breed cows that are low maintenance, and we use bulls that are always calving ease. Because like I said, we're more concerned about a certain kind of quality than we are about the size of the animal. Because remember, size isn't everything. But when I really think about quality versus quantity, it's important to consider both aspects, because you do need to have both to be a successful farmer. But more and more, quality is becoming a much bigger thing than quantity is. And if you can get on the bandwagon and figure out how to grow a quality product and sell it into a local consumer or regional food system, you're probably going to be better off. Thanks for watching. My name's Jesse. This is American Beef Ranch. God bless you, and we will see you next time.